Welcome, everyone, to Weekend Wisdom by Creating a Family. Creating a Family, for those of you who don't know, is a national support and training nonprofit for foster, adoptive, and kinship families. We have two podcasts. We have a long-form podcast where we interview an expert or someone with lived experience. That drops once a week. It's usually around an hour, and that's been going on for 17 years. So we have a huge library of experts in this field. I truly think we've probably covered every topic you could possibly ever want information on, and I highly recommend it. However, this podcast is not that. This podcast is where we answer your questions once a week on the weekends, hence the name. We take your questions and we answer them, one question per episode. We need your questions, so send them to us at info@creatingafamily.org. Without further ado, I'm going to jump into this week's question. It's from Peter. He says, I see that you have information regarding prenatal substance exposure. Is there information regarding biological mothers that hate their pregnancy or their baby, but carry it to full term and put it up for adoption? Are there resources that would address the emotional impact on the baby? Phew, Peter, that's a hard question. First, my gut feeling is that there really aren't too many moms who hate the baby. I mean, sure, there are some people who are pregnant who wish they weren't for any number of reasons. But from my experience, they separate the fact that they wish they weren't pregnant from the baby itself. So I wouldn't go into adoption thinking that this is common at all. And I wouldn't assume that a mom felt this way just because she decided to place her baby for adoption or didn't bond with the baby right after birth. Now, it's true that it's highly stressful to be considering making an adoption plan for a baby while pregnant. And most researchers I've talked to acknowledge that a high-stress pregnancy could impact the baby later in life, both emotionally and physically. But it's hard to tease this out from all the other things in the mix when you're studying adopted people compared to non-adopted people. I would also imagine that a woman who strongly doesn't want to be pregnant would be less likely to focus on nutrition that would benefit the baby and on prenatal care. And the absence of both of these could impact the child later in life as well. And I would also think that a birth mom who has such strong feelings towards her pregnancy and possibly even towards the baby would be less likely to enter into a healthy, open adoption relationship. And that too can impact a child emotionally. But you asked for resources. I don't know of resources specifically to helping a child whose birth mother hated the fetus or the baby, but I acknowledge that this could affect the child. However, Creating Family has lots of resources to help you raising a child with tough beginnings, including a number of resources, including articles, tip sheets, podcasts, and things like that, for how to help your child who was conceived by rape or incest, which could be close to what you are asking. Also, we have lots of resources on helping kids whose birth parents struggle with substance abuse disorder. And you can find all of those resources by searching at creatingafamily.org. And before you go, I wanted to tell you about Creating a Family's interactive training and support curriculum for foster, adoptive, and kinship parents. It is a curriculum. We currently have 25 curriculum on topics that are directly relevant to parenting foster, adoptive, and kinship kids. You can get more information at parentsupportgroups.org. The training could be used for support groups. It could be also just used for small group trainings. Again, parentsupportgroups.org. And thanks for listening to this week's Weekend Wisdom. If you liked it, please tell a friend to subscribe to the creatingafamily.org podcast. And I will see you next week.